Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachak Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations unto the tabernacle of David, the hopeful elect, that are scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. Now, I just want to have a few words on this this latest update with Donald Trump, Orange Face, aka Nero. He had recently signed an executive order to preserve the TikTok app among American owners, investors. And some people may think that this is some type of victory. This is something to celebrate. Him, signing a legislation or an executive order that would keep the app from being sold to foreign owners, where it can now be American controlled. So I'm pretty sure people are like, yes, and we get to keep our content, and we get to go back to the folly. But we know the scriptures tell us never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Now we overall use the platforms, primarily we use YouTube, to get the truth across, to go into prophecy, give updates on current events around the world and filter it through prophecy. We use it to admonish, exhort one another. We use it to address certain things, false prophets, people breaking down the scriptures incorrectly. We use it ultimately for edification, to edify. As a matter of fact, let me start off with a quick pre. It's the reason why I got this guy up, but we're gonna get back to him. Let's go to I believe it's in Ephesians. Yeah, this is Ephesians 4:29, and it says, "Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers." And we've been bringing out the scripture in Colossians a lot lately, where it basically says to let your speech be seasoned with salt. Let your speech be with grace and seasoned with salt, how you ought to answer every man. So, we in a time where you got to be a little salty, with your words, meaning, be wise, as far as what you're saying on social media, what you're saying in your content and your videos, because this man is definitely lurking. And, with this little executive order, and then you also have it right now where you can now actually reinstate your old channels that got terminated. All right. You now have that option where you can actually recover videos that were actually removed from YouTube. So, I think that, this could be the last calling from the Lord, allowing, for us to recover, old content, videos that more than likely were, I'm pretty sure, they got striked off of YouTube because of the whole COVID thing. A lot of it was marked as medical misinformation, et cetera, et cetera. But now, Trump is on some let's try to restore, freedom of content on social media. Now the scriptures say, and let me grab it real quick. This is why we know not to trust our enemy. Let's go to and I'm gonna get to the point, because I gotta make this short. I gotta leave in a minute. Let's go to Sirach 14 and verse 7. And it says, and if he doeth good, this is the only verse I want. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. And at the last, he will declare his wickedness. This is why it says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So there's always going to be a catch to what this man does. Even if it appears heroic, if it seems like it has good intentions behind it. But, we should know better at this point. I believe that, they're allowing this because they're still going to have AI control over these apps, over these platforms. You're also going to have Zionist oversight over these platforms because TikTok, it wasn't sold to foreign investors, but guess what? The American corporations that actually basically kept TikTok preserved here in Babylon, you're gonna find out that one of the owners, which he's the owner of this company called Oracle, Larry Ellison. All right, and that's why I have this guy pulled up. And I was curious. I'm like, let me search this guy up. This guy literally, he grew up a small hat. All right, so that right there in itself should be a red flag. All right, Larry Ellison, he owns 40% of Oracle. He's a multi-billionaire, and he was raised in an Amalekite small hat household. Okay, so you should already know what time it is. Their main aim is to watch for what they deem as hate speech. Remember what the Attorney General said, Pam Bondi. She's trying to link free speech to hate speech. And they primarily want to focus on any anti-Sim content. So this is the catch to that. And not to mention, you also got Erica Mendel. All right, who is Erica Mendel? Look her up. Erica Mendel is an American Israeli small hat former IDF soldier currently serving as the public policy manager of hate speech at TikTok since July of 2025. So you see that even though they didn't sell this to foreign investors and it's under American control, but you look a little deeper, it's actually under Zionist control. So on the surface, it looked like what Trump is doing is noble, but we all know what the game is. They're gonna have oversight. They're gonna monitor all your content. They're gonna be able to filter out everything still. So that's why I said, I wouldn't get all celebratory that this is all happening. Bringing back your old YouTube channels where you might have said some stuff, because back then on his older channels, we was probably a little less salty. We was a little more free with our words. And Esau can definitely try to use it, to accuse later down the line. Let me get this. Remember, the scriptures say they lay snares privily. They set traps. Yeah, Psalms 56. I'll read it in NLT. Psalm 56 and verse 5 through 6, it says, "They are always twisting what I say, meaning they wrest my words. They spend their days plotting to harm me. They come together to spy on me, watching my every step, eager to kill me. Don't let them get away with their wickedness. In your anger, O power, bring them down." So we know that, this man is, he's coming with that iron fist. The devil is coming down with that wrath, knowing that he had but a short time. And we have a cruel lord, a fierce king that's in office, but he's operating, of course, as a puppet on strings by the main adversary, Amalek. Okay, they're pretty much giving him his pecking orders on what to sign off on, and it's going right in the direction of Zionist control. That's what this is. This is the United States in Israel. And that's not anti-Sim to say, because, it is what it is. So, knowing this, I'd still say to, be wise with your words. Bring out the content, bring out the information, so you can enlighten, and also bring out the scriptures. And you can't go wrong. Because he's going to be forced to condemn the use of the words of the Most High. And the fact that they even named that company Oracle, which that the true Oracle comes from the Heavenly Father. Let me do this. You look up the word Oracle. Oracle, it says, a message from a God expressed by divine inspiration through a priest or priestess in answer to a human inquiry, usually respecting some future event. From Old French oracle, temp, house of prayer, oracle, and directly from Latin oraculum, divine announcement, oracle, place where oracles are given. From orari, to pray to, plead to, beseech. All right, this devil, he wants to be like the Most High. He wants to be worshipped. See, so they get to control, the narrative. They get to control the information. They get to control the word. They get to control the oracle. The oracle comes from the Most High, but they want to be the ones to have that and to control that. It says the agent in antiquity, the agency or medium of a god. Also the place where such divine utterances were given. All right, so the owner, Larry Ellison, he owns 40%. He grew up a small hat. And then they said the other investors of Oracle happen to be Vanguard and BlackRock. And we already know about that investment corporation. We already know about that. We know who owns it, so everything is going to be under their control, under their ownership, under their control. And they want to have the oversight over everything, and they want to be the one to control everything. Okay? So him signing over to that company to keep it here in America, this ain't some type of victory. All right, this man is he's clearly, of Shaitan. And when we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, the rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. So we got to keep on our armor of the Most High, that we may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So, we still, we use these platforms, but we don't abuse it. All right. But these people, they're going to be back to their folly. All right. But they're going to be able to filter what can and what can't be on these platforms. You think that this is going to give you more freedom? No, it ain't. There's a catch to everything this man does. You will know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Can an Ethiopian change his skin, or a leopard his spots? So are they that are accustomed to evil to do good. So, yeah, y'all gonna, you could do the research, Oracle, primarily the shareholders, the majority shareholders that own a big part of the investment in that corporation, Vanguard, BlackRock. They own a lot of shares in this. So basically, in the shadows, Vanguard, BlackRock, they pretty much saved TikTok from going overseas. So just wanted to put that out there. All right. And hey, this man, he's always got something going. But like it says in 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. So hopefully y'all were edified. I'm going to give all honor, all praise, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And until the next one, Shalom.